Hello there, so I thought we might have a nice little sit down together while I do a bit of sketchbooking. I thought I would sketchbook some rabbits and hares because it's finally a blue sky today, and I've been very sick of the northern weather recently, so I want to just have a bit of sketchbooking thinking about the upcoming spring, which I will welcome with open arms. I actually did get interrupted, so I've slightly drawn the first little bit of a rabbit, but apart from that, we're going to draw it all now we're rolling, so to speak. So yeah, going to talk about various things and just enjoy drawing. So yeah, hopefully I won't ramble on forever, but let's go. Okay. So using just pencils today, various weights, 6B, 2B, 4B, 8B are all on the table, and we'll see what happens. The main brands I use, Faber-Castell. I really like Faber-Castell, and I do have some Caran d'Ache as well. Is that how you say that? Probably not. We're gonna just assume not. So yeah, yesterday I actually made like a whole, I actually originally did like a whole day in the life video, where I did actually like exactly what I talked about in a previous video, where I talked about testing an idea out, and what I mentioned could happen happened to me. So I actually ended up not liking the idea very much, and it was actually like, even though it only took me like a few hours to like get over it, it actually is quite like a negative feeling, because you do build up ideas in your head, I think, as something that you're going to really love doing and they're going to be fantastic, and then the reality sometimes can be very different to that. And yeah, there was just something about it. I think sometimes it's hard to like, you might think like, how did you know the idea wasn't one you wanted to do and you weren't just getting discouraged? But I feel like I kind of know the difference now, because it's like with my serial comic, like I have days where I'm really discouraged about it, but I still want to keep making it. So like, there's clearly something in it that keeps driving me forward, whereas this, like, even just from the first day of trying it, I just didn't feel enthused about it. I don't know if it's because I was drawing myself in the comic and that was part of it, and I also think the style was becoming too like realistic, and I don't really like that. So yeah, there was a lot of different elements to it that just, I ended up just not feeling good about it by the end of the day. So I let it go. And it's not that I couldn't return to it or like rethink it one day, but like for now, I'm gonna leave it to the ether, so to speak. And actually, in a way, that can be a relief, because it's like one less thing to be thinking about, one less like idea on the list that I'm like, should I do that? Should I do that? And actually, by the end of the day, like I was already thinking of like something else I'd quite like to do, another idea. So yeah, all in all, I decided to let it go for now and try different things, and also obviously keep working on my serial comic. But yeah, sometimes you do, like, I don't know, life's short and the world's a mess, and I just think, yeah, I want to make sure as best I can that I'm like working on things I really feel like good about to some degree, even if I do get disheartened about them sometimes. That's completely natural. Like, there is no perfect idea that you will like absolutely love making all the time, but I think you can sort of, you can sense it. The more time that goes on, the more you get used to like sensing what is the right path to choose. And yeah, and funnily enough, like by the evening I was already thinking of like another idea I'd quite like to go to, which kind of extends on like a little comic I made ages ago about a robot dog. I'd quite like to make like a whole narrative with a character and who has the dog and all these kind of things. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, while I'm making this, I just want to talk about, I can't waste the opportunity to talk about how I really love rabbits and hares are my favourite animal. I didn't actually realise that for years, like until quite recently. And then it's like one day I literally looked around my room and I was like, a rabbit, a hare, a rabbit. Like everything I looked at, I was like, yeah. Like, and I do have other like animal themed things that aren't rabbits. Like, I'm particularly in like woodland animals, like British woodland animals, like badgers, foxes, things like that. But I just started to notice that like whenever I get the choice, I tend to choose rabbits. Like, I've actually the only pet I've ever had was a rabbit, when I was a kid. But yeah, like I just really love them and they're so sweet, and I just love like looking at them. It's not that I actually want to own one. I just find them really, really sweet. I don't know. And then like hares, I like how they have like that wildness to them. And yes, but yeah, I noticed like the stuffed animal that I hug every night. I don't mind admitting, is a rabbit, and I have this little like crystal carved stone carving of a rabbit next to my bed that I call like the dream rabbit, that I ask to like give me good dreams. And yeah, just lots of other things that I like are like related to rabbits. Like a number of like characters that I like have some sort of relation to rabbits. Like Louise from Bob's Burgers, for example, she has rabbit ears, and like a few other things I can think of that I'm struggling to think of at the moment. But yeah, but yeah, it's funny how like you suddenly one day notice a pattern in something that maybe you didn't even notice about yourself. Okay, that's the first sweet little rabbit. I actually didn't expect this to go so well. It's quite pretty, isn't it? Yeah, cute. I like it. But yeah, like as weird as it is, it can actually be like a relief to let ideas go, and to let things go in general. Like I don't know, I've like had an ethos recently of like, it's bizarre. Like I am an anxious person. Like I do get anxious about things. I'm just gonna use this pencil. It's just really nice today. I was gonna try and create some variety for you, but why bother when it's that good? Yeah, like I struggled with like chronic anxiety for years and years. But like, and I still get anxious about stuff. Like there's certain things that definitely like probably still hold me back a bit, like things that I worry about. Like for example, traveling. Like I get very anxious doing things like that, like traveling, not knowing what I'm doing in scenarios or whatever. You know, even on a day-to-day basis, like I struggle to get out sometimes, not just from anxiety, but just from like getting the motivation to do it, I guess. But yeah, yet like I have like somehow over the past like few months especially, I feel like I'm a very calm person. Like I feel like I finally, because I've like processed a lot of my anxiety, like what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but like I'm a lot less anxious like generally now. Like I feel like I've realised underneath it all I'm actually quite a calm person, which is like quite surprising actually. And recently I feel like I'm sort of the voice of reason to some of my friends. What's the word? Turn up for the books, or whatever they call it. When suddenly I'm the person who's like not the completely like anxious one. It's like new to me. It's very new. But yeah, trying to help other people like process their anxiety and worrying about the future, and worrying about things changing, especially like I have a lot of friends who've said to me over the years like they really really struggle with change, and I'm not saying I don't, because I definitely do, but I think I've somehow like managed to, like I say, I think let things go a bit, and I feel like I've developed this kind of peace with the knowledge that things happen, like bad things can happen. People come and go out of your life. Things don't stay the same. I don't know, something in my brain has like clicked with that concept somehow, and I just don't feel as worried about it all anymore. So yeah, I feel like in my art, in my life, I'm like managing to just let things be a bit more. And I don't really mean on like a I don't mean on an uncaring level, It's like, with all that's going on in the world, obviously I care about it, and I'm scared by it as well. But I mean more on like personal levels, more like natural things, not like terrifying world leaders who are going to lead us to utter destruction. I'm talking about like the natural ways of the world, like, you know, living, dying, unfortunately. I feel like I've just managed to somehow make some peace with it to a degree. And just general things, everyday things as well, like friends leaving, potentially. The dynamic between people changing. And just generally, like, embracing the ups and downs to a degree. And yet saying that, like I say, I am looking forward to spring. Like, I'm all for embracing some rain and embracing the winter. I don't hate winter. I used to really love it when I was a child as well. But I'm ready for the change of spring. But yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that. This is what happens. Part of these, like, yeah, I don't know if people like the completely aimless ramblings that will probably occur if I do videos like this. But yeah, I've just been thinking about it. Like, there can be some peace in accepting stuff happens, like stuff you can't control. So yeah, this was just a really random, like, little chat and draw. But yeah, is this a kind of format you'd enjoy? Do you like just a kind of casual drawing video? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and for always watching and supporting me. And yes, I will look forward to seeing you next time, hopefully. Thank you.